Today's topic is a juicy one. We are talking about purpose and authenticity. Hi everybody, I'm Michelle Carre and welcome to Your Delicious Life, where each week we take a look at life from a different perspective and either learn something new or get reminded of something that we already knew. This week's episode is called Authentic Purpose. Now, those are two pretty gigantic words that you hear a lot these days. So why did I combine it all into one episode? I asked you guys what you wanted to hear about in these blogs, and Sarah wrote, "Finding your purpose. It's not always what everyone thinks it is." Then Shauna commented, and what she wrote was authenticity, staying true to yourself because sometimes it's easier to compromise for the comfort of others. So I wanted to take these two huge topics, authenticity and purpose, and really focus on that sweet spot of being authentic to your purpose. Finding your purpose. That sounds like a gigantic journey and I should pack a lunch or 17 of them. I mean, just those words feel heavy. Find your purpose. And it feels like if we don't, we're wasting our time, we're wasting our lives. So instead of feeling suffocated by those words, I want to relieve some of that pressure before we get into anything at all here. First things first. Your purpose does not have to be what you get a paycheck for. I wish they started everything with that sentence. Every book, every blog, every podcast, every video, every interview, anything about purpose should start with that sentence, because we seem to get this idea in our head that thou shalt get paid for one's purpose. That should be your job. Now, for a lot of people, it might be. But for a lot of people, it might not be, and that's perfectly fine. To me, your purpose is to share your gifts. You might have a gift with numbers or words, or maybe you're really detail-oriented and you catch things that others don't. Maybe you are naturally good at helping others, or maybe you have a gift of being able to see beauty on a blank canvas or on a counter with a bunch of raw ingredients. All of those things are gifts and abilities, and we all have them. Purpose is about sharing those gifts and abilities with other people. If you want to know your purpose, think about some of those ongoing themes that you have had throughout your life. For me, it's teaching. Now, I realized this about 15 years ago when I was facilitating the training at WestJet. But truth be told, I've been doing this my whole life. I've always been great at organizing ideas and then sharing them in a way that people understand. And I probably started that with Barbies and my friends when I was a kid, and it carried on into the facilitation at WestJet, into being a realtor and a speaker. It's all about sharing ideas, and that's something that I'm good at doing. Teaching is my purpose. Your purpose makes your heart smile. Now, some people might try and help you with what your purpose is by saying things like, "Oh, you're really good at that. You should do that more often." But what if you don't like it? Well, this is where authenticity really comes into play. You see, you might find that there's an experience or an activity or something that just feels really in sync with who you are. It really makes your heart smile, but it might be something that you don't get to do very often or that not a lot of people know about. But I want you to know that just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not your purpose. Your purpose may be to share your story and your journey with others. Now, you could go about doing this from a huge stage to an audience of thousands. You could share your story to small groups of 10 or even one-on-one. Maybe your purpose is to create food to fill bellies of other people. You could do this with a big restaurant and serve thousands upon thousands, or or you could feed your child each day. How it feels to share your gifts and live your purpose doesn't change depending on how many people benefit from it. One person is plenty to share your gifts with. How it feels to share your purpose doesn't change whether you have one person or 1,000. Sharing your purpose with just one person is plenty. So I don't want you to get bogged down in this idea that your purpose has to be some big, grand thing with a huge audience. Sometimes we make the biggest impact in this world with a small step. But the key is to make sure it's authentic and it truly makes your heart sing. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm going to be answering another question from you next week on working with your spouse.